I am a massive Monster Hunter fan. I love playing Monster Hunter on the Nintendo Switch. I love playing Monster Hunter on other platforms. So when Wild Hearts S was announced for the Nintendo Switch 2, I was already super interested in this particular game. And after playing the free demo that released earlier this month, my hype grew even more. So when Koei Tecmo hit me up and provided me with a review key to get in on this game early, I was beyond excited to see if this hunting game was actually going to hold up on the Nintendo Switch 2 system. But what is Wild Hearts S? Well, Wild Hearts S is a new iteration of the Wild Hearts game that released back in 2023. But this time, it does not have any affiliation with EA, which the previous Wild Hearts has, which is probably for the best. It is a monster hunting game with a feudal Japan setting, and admittedly, I never got around to playing the original version of Wild Hearts. I was concerned at the time it would be too samey to Monster Hunter to keep my attention, but as I keep playing Wild Hearts S, I realized I was really off base with this idea in my head. While the core formula of Wild Hearts S is very similar to that of Monster Hunter, that being hunt monsters, gather resources, make new armor and weapons, and hunt bigger monsters, the actual gameplay and delivery of some of the game's components is quite different, giving it a fresh and different feel from what I'm used to out of other hunting games. So let's start with the story, which is admittedly the least favorite part of every hunter that plays games like these. And the reason for that is we just want to get to the next monster, or in the case of Wild Hearts S, the next kimono, and keep the gameplay moving. However, I will say that the story in Wild Hearts S is delivered in a better way than the Monster Hunter titles that I've played. They provide you with what is, in my opinion, a better reason to take down the kimono rather than the stereotypical "this monster's rampaging, we need to take it down" plotline that is reused time and time again in the Monster Hunter franchise. Also, the hunter's power to summon constructs called the Karakuri out of thin air and aid them in battle or just in the field is a really fun element that ties into the story as well. And despite the story being more engaging and better delivered than other hunting games that I've played, I quickly began skipping through the dialogue to get back to the game because I'll be honest, I'm just not interested in the story in these style of games. I just want to hunt monsters and have fun. Now, I have to say I am a big fan of the open world aspect of this game. There is a hub area like in other hunting games where you can build your armors and your weapons and you can get new side missions and things of that nature, but it's the open zones that I really like in this particular game. When you go out in the field, you can either select a mission to undergo or you can just explore the location that you travel to. The part that really excites me though is the use of the Karakuri. You can set up multiple camps using the Karakuri while also setting up forges, towers that can track the monster locations, build grappling hooks to propel yourself through the location more easily. This use of the summoning of the Karakuri to build camps around the environment more easily gives you a sense of agency in this game that you don't get from other hunting games. You are fully in control of where your base camps are set up, and I really like that aspect. It really makes you feel like you are a hunter out looking for these beasts and you are controlling where you set up base camp and how you want to proceed. If it's a safer location, you can set your camp up there, things of that nature. It's really cool in that aspect, and it's a part of the game that I was not anticipating and I really enjoy. On top of this, that means you don't have to always go back to one camp to build new armor upgrades. You can go anywhere and just forge a forge, and I love that aspect. And as you explore these locations, you'll find more interactable objects throughout the location that will increase your ability to build more Karakuri and expand the amount of buildings that you can actually have in the area. So it just kind of incentivizes that exploration while you're hunting. I really like this. I'm a big fan of how the open zone of this game has kind of unfolded for me. It's just a really fun system that they have in place. Let's move on to the actual meat and potatoes of Wild Hearts S though, and that's the hunting. And I have to say that this game is much more challenging than the most recent entries of Monster Hunter that I've played. It reminds me a lot of older Monster Hunter games, specifically thinking back to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Those games are much more akin to the difficulty level that I am experiencing in Wild Hearts S, and I have to say that I'm actually really enjoying the difficulty level of these monsters. Even the early monsters are giving me a little bit of a run for my money if I'm not paying attention, and I like that I have to be more on my toes in order to dodge attacks and keep my character alive. There are a variety of weapons that you could choose from, ranging from a bow to a hammer to a katana that I've played the most with, and there's even a more unique bladed umbrella, and there's more that I even haven't unlocked yet, each providing you with a unique gameplay style and giving you plenty of different combat options to try out and see what fits your play style best. Now, the Konomo themselves feel massive and threatening, and there are a fair few of them to hunt and experience. I love how much more destructive they are than other hunting games. Because of how large they are and how aggressive they are, if they run into a tree, a rock, or a building, there's a good chance that that tree, rock, or building is going to break when they run into it. And I love that aspect. It adds a sense of realism to the fights that you're having. It makes it feel much grander in scale than what you get in a lot of other hunting games, and I really enjoy it. And the other thing about the Konomo that I really found myself enjoying is the enraged forms. Much like in other hunting games, after a certain point, after X amount of damage that you do to the monster, it will become enraged. However, the enraged form in this particular game for the monsters is much more varied than you get in a lot of other hunting games. I mean, I feel like there's a big difference, not only in the way that the fight actually takes place in this game, but also in the physical appearance of the monster. For example, if I'm hunting a king tusk and I make that thing mad, all of a sudden it roars and its tusks kind of expand and turn into like lava, like fire tusks. It's kind of crazy the level of detail that goes into the enraged modes for the monsters in this particular game, and I am a big fan of it. It really changes up the pace of the battle and really makes you go, okay, things are about to get intense and I need to lock in at this moment. Now, like I said earlier, I feel this game is a bit more challenging than other hunting games that I have played. However, I think part of that extra level of difficulty comes from a couple things that I have issues with. The first big issue that I have is that it seems like the monsters have this like oddity when you are fighting them, that they have these attacks that track you to a T. So dodging at the exact right moment is much more important than ever in this game. And at first, I will say this was very frustrating. When you just see a monster rear back and follow your character in a circle around it, that is a little bit frustrating. However, as I played the game, continued hunting, got better, I began avoiding a lot of these tracking attacks, and it was partly due to me just getting better at the game, but it was also due to me utilizing the Karakuri in battle. I really wasn't sure how I was going to feel about using the Karakuri in battle when I started playing this game. I feel like it's something that is kind of, you have to get ingrained in your head when you're doing the battles, that you have to remember that it's actually there, because traditionally I was playing this just like any other Monster Hunter game. But once you remember the Karakuri are there and you actually start utilizing them, it really changes how these hunts unfold. For example, I could summon a box in front of me that I could spring off of and do a powerful aerial attack. I could set a spring down that I could bounce off of and push myself away from damage or toward an unsuspecting monster. And I could build walls that would block the charge of an oncoming monster. Utilizing these in game actually changes how you can interact with the monster and interact with the hunts, as well as avoid damage, which is just really fun. After you get the hang of it and you start utilizing it more, it becomes second nature, and you start to realize this is your primary focus in the hunt. You're trying to keep up your resources so that you can use more Karakuri to maximize your potential in a hunt. And I really like this element. The Karakuri really sets Wild Hearts S apart from other monster hunting games. I really like this aspect. It's a fresh and unique take on the formula. Now, the only other thing that I noticed that really bothered me about Wild Hearts S is that in certain hunts there are some environmental elements that can get in your way, whether it be some bamboo shoots, some rocks that are hanging off a cliff. Things of that nature can get in the way and block your character. And while it seems that it blocks your character, it does not seem to stop the Konomo from hitting you. So you can get stuck in these little locations and not be able to dodge certain attacks, and this can be a bit frustrating. I will say that this is kind of few and far between when this actually happens, but when I was playing the game, it did happen a handful of times, so I wanted to bring it up as just something to point out. It is a little annoying, but not something that like defeats the whole value of this game. It's something that is frustrating. You can get over it very quickly and continue your hunt and have a good time. It never really took away from my experience. It was just like a come on, this, like that kind of thing. Now, despite these odd moments of me getting stuck or insanely accurate attacks from the Konomo that track you to a T, I still found myself completely hooked on this game. As I got better, I started learning different weapons, pulling off fun attacks with the Karakuri, and building more armors and weapons. I knew that this was going to be a formula that I would struggle putting down. It is just one of those games, like other hunting games that I love playing, that has just the right sauce and the right gameplay loop that keeps me coming back for more, and I am enjoying it immensely. Now, Wild Hearts S is a game that you can partake in multiplayer hunts with, and you can partake in these hunts with up to 3 other players, which is always a good time. I always enjoy hunting online. The nice thing is that the multiplayer servers in the live game are the same ones that are in the demo, so I was actually able to hunt with the people that were playing the demo, because not a whole lot of people outside of other content creators and reviewers had access to the game early like I did, so I was still able to play and experience the online portion of this game through playing hunts in the demo with those players. So that was really cool to be able to hop in and play with those people, and I have to say that the multiplayer works fantastically in this game. It works really, really well. I never had any disconnection issues or anything of that nature. It was super fun. Also, it was a little bit easier because the monster wasn't focused on me the entire time, and I really like the multiplayer aspect in this game. I will also note that this is a different variation of the multiplayer that was in the other version of Wild Hearts on other platforms. This is actually up to 4 players total in a hunt, versus on the other platforms it was only 3 players in a hunt at a time. So little upgrade there, and I will say that it worked flawlessly. It was such a good time hunting with everybody, so I really like the multiplayer aspect of this particular game. Now let's talk about the thing that everybody that hates Nintendo Switch 2 is going to want to know about, and that's performance. The performance and the graphics in this game are good, but they are not great. The graphics are nice, but it's definitely not the prettiest game to look at. Like, some textures on many character models or the Konomo themselves, they look very nice, but the things in the environment, like the trees, the stones, water, things like that can look a little rough around the edges. And admittedly, this muddiness is not something that really bothers me personally. I'm just not paying attention to this sort of thing when I'm in the hunt. I'm not looking around while I'm fighting a monster and going, oh, that tree looks a bit off over there. It's just not something that really bothers me to an insane degree. Now, as far as the frame rate goes, I can tell you that this game is not running at 60 FPS, but it is also running above 30 FPS. Now, I don't have any sort of software that can actually test the frame rate that I'm seeing in game. I just do it with my eyeballs, and this frame rate feels smoother than normal lower frame rate. So I'm going to guess that this game is running around the 40 FPS range, and it does have some moments where it feels like it's running smoother than that and you're getting closer to that 60 FPS, but there are also instances on the other side of things where it looks like you're dipping a little bit, probably dipping down into the high 30s with certain instances depending on what's going on screen. So this game is sitting about that mid-range between 30 and 60 just based on what I have seen. It feels like that's what's happening, but I will say that the dips that you are getting are so infrequent and so unaltering as far as the game experience goes that it really is not something that I notice or care about all that much. It's kind of like the frame dips in Donkey Kong Bonanza, where it happens for a split second and then it disappears. That's kind of where I'm at with the frame dips in this particular game. And aside from these scattered frame dips that happen every once in a while, the game is very smooth and feels like it hits that middle ground frame rate pretty consistently. I never felt hindered by any of this on my hunts. The frame rate never bothered me. I never felt like I was unable to react quickly enough because of the frame rate. It just felt fine. Now, I will admit, I'm not a frame rate guy. This is not something that bothers me. It's just not something that I really concern myself with, because all I care about is if a game is fun. And I can safely say that Wild Hearts S is a freaking blast on the Nintendo Switch 2, and I am completely addicted to it. So I am not really worried about how the frame rate is, because the game is just that good. Now, very briefly, I want to talk about the future of Wild Hearts S on the platform, because I think it's a little bit exciting. Like I mentioned, this game previously was incorporated with EA. They were a part of EA. EA was publishing the game, but due to how slowly the original game got off the ground, EA cut support. So it ended any new content updates that were planned, any new monsters that could be added. But Wild Hearts S being free from EA really gives this game an opportunity that the original didn't have, and that is time. They don't need to see immediate results like big companies like EA like to see. They have time to work, develop, and really flesh out this game, and I really hope that this game succeeds on the Nintendo Switch 2, because like I said, it's addicting, it's super fun, it's a really good monster hunting game. But I really want to see that success because I really want to see what they can do to really improve this game. Add more monsters, add more content, things of that nature, do an expansion, things like that. I would love to see happen for this particular game because I'm enjoying it so much. I would love to see more content come that I can continue enjoying for this particular game. So for me, I'm just keen to see what they can do now that EA is not over their shoulder telling them what to do with this game. I think this game could really be something special. So in conclusion, Wild Hearts S, while not being the prettiest game on the system and having sometimes frustrating interactions with monsters, Wild Hearts S is a game that has great gameplay that I cannot wait to dump hundreds more hours into. It sets itself apart from other hunting games with its use of the Karakuri, giving you tons of tools to use in battle and during exploration, and its larger than life Konomo and destructible environments make each hunt a spectacle and feel high stakes at all times. It has an addicting gameplay loop that I love in other games like Monster Hunter that make me just want to take one hunt after another. Just keep going and keep going. I love this gameplay loop. And like we just talked about, the fact that they left EA behind is a win in my opinion. The developers now actually have time to cook and let this game simmer, come up with ideas, and it gives me hope for an exciting future for this particular game. In my opinion, if you're a Monster Hunter fan and have not checked out Wild Hearts in the past like I myself had not, I would definitely recommend checking out Wild Hearts S on the Nintendo Switch 2. It offers a similar formula with its own unique spin on gameplay that really sets it apart from other games in the genre, and it comes in at $50. However, if you do want to try it out first, there is a demo available that you can download for free, and the save data from that demo transfers over to the full game if you decide to pick it up. So that is a huge win if you want to try this game before you buy. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Are you going to pick up Wild Hearts S? Are you a Monster Hunter fan? Does this game interest you? Let me know all that fun stuff below. Also, leave a like, comment, subscribe because it helps me out, helps the video out, and helps the channel out immensely. And I want to say one more thank you again to Koei Tecmo for sending me over a review code for this particular game. I'm having a blast with it, and I can't wait to keep having a blast with it. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace.